Let's make a chocolate covered strawberries inspired sourdough loaf. We are going to start by adding 100 grams of active sourdough starter to our bowl. We are going to add 350 grams of water, and you will mix these two together until the starter is mostly dissolved into your water. And then we will add 500 grams of flour and 10 grams of salt. If you'd like, you can also add about 30 grams of sugar, but I kind of like the contrast between the sweetness of the chocolate and the strawberries and the actual bread. But if you want it all to be sweet overall, you can add some sugar. So now you go ahead and mix everything together, making sure that there are no pockets of flour left over, and you will let your dough rest for about 30 minutes on your counter. I am using milk chocolate chips and these freeze-dried strawberries. You can add whatever chocolate you like. And here I'm just flattening out the dough a little bit just so I can have a little bit more surface to add the inclusions. I'm trying to separate the inclusions evenly, that way it's spread out throughout the dough evenly. I go ahead and stretch the dough and fold it over, and I add more inclusions, and then I do this 4 times going around the bowl. And then I like to flip the dough over, that way I can put even more inclusions. That way there are inclusions everywhere. Once you're done with your first set of stretch and folds, you will let the dough rest for 30 minutes to an hour. That way the dough can relax and you can continue with your second set. This is what the dough looks like before resting on the counter. And then after the 30 minutes, I go ahead and do some coil folds, trying to keep all of the inclusions within the dough. That way the dough has inclusions everywhere, and it looks pretty once we cut it open. I still had a little bit of freeze-dried strawberries, so I went ahead and added that right on top at the end of that second set. I did take the temperature of my dough because I was leaving this overnight on the counter. This dough was a little bit on the warm side, so I went ahead and put it in the refrigerator during the second and third set of stretch and folds. And here you can see I am just doing very gentle stretch and folds, basically folding the dough into itself. I can't really stretch it or do any coil folds because the dough has a lot of inclusions, so that's why I'm just folding it into itself. And here you can see that the temperature of my dough is dropping. I think it was about 73 on the first after the first set, and then 66 now, and then this is the fourth set of stretch and fold. And again, I'm just folding the dough into itself, trying to keep those inclusions inside without tearing the dough. I went ahead and took the temperature again, and the temperature was even lower this time, which was perfect because it was able to ferment overnight, and then I didn't have to rush and wake up at 4 in the morning to shape this dough. So the dough was pretty cold, so I was able to leave it on the counter, and this is what it looked like in the morning when I was ready to shape it. And I went ahead and shaped this dough. It is kind of on the sticky side, so I wasn't able to stitch it properly because of the chocolate, and the strawberries rehydrate again a little bit, so the dough gets a little bit on the wet side. So I went ahead and shaped the dough, put it into my banneton, and I put it in the refrigerator so it could cold proof throughout the day, and I baked this dough in the evening. So now I am ready to bake my dough. My oven is preheated at 450 degrees with a Dutch oven inside. And now I'm just taking off some of the chocolate chips that are popping out from the bottom because I didn't want them to burn as it baked, since they were literally at the bottom of the dough. I actually put them right on top once I open the Dutch oven lid halfway. So here I am scoring my dough, and I baked this dough for 25 minutes with the lid on and about 15 minutes with the lid off. I did take the temperature of the inside of the loaf after it was done baking to make sure it was done. Your loaf should be from 205 degrees to 210 to be fully baked. I let it cool down, and this is what the inside looks like. This loaf is so good, and I feel like it's perfect for Valentine's Day or just for a sweet treat. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching today's video. Comment, like, and subscribe. Maybe even hype this video up so other people can watch. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!